Hi, I'm Jelena.
And I'm David.
And welcome to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, today we're going to do a workshop on, or a tutorial on NAKRASANA. And that means crocodile pose in Sanskrit. And
it's a pose that shows up in second series.
Yep.
Towards past the half point.
Yeah, and close to the end.
And it's a very challenging pose. I think it is.
I think it depends on your disposition. So if you kind of came to the practice and something like strength-based was easier, like jump throughs and jump backs, you'll have an easier time with this than you would have with something like Kapotasana, a deep back bend or something.
I also just think where it is in the practice, you start to get a little bit tired at that point, and you've done quite a bit of strength stuff. And so it just, I don't know, it always humbles me. So
intermediate series is challenging.
Yeah.
It's hard anyways.
But before we move forward, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Let us know what other tutorials you want to see so that we can keep showing up for you here.
Okay, so let's look at the vinyasa and it'll demonstrate the pose, and then we'll break it down a bit more. We start in samastiti, and we start about halfway down the mat because you're going to have a bunch of forward movement. So from here we go yekam, inhale, arms up, palms together. Dwe, exhale, hands to the floor. Trini, inhale, your head up. And then Chatwari, exhale, go back into Chaturanga Dandasana, but with the feet together. And then from here, Pancha, you go inhale, 1, you hop, exhale, inhale, 2, exhale, 3, 4, and 5. And then back, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good. And then Shat, inhale, upward dog. Sapta, exhale, back to downward facing dog. Ashtau, inhale, hop the feet to the hands, head up. Nava, exhale, head down. And then inhale, come up, samastiti. Yeah, looking at it, it is pretty challenging. It's tiring.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So there's really what this is you're holding chaturanga, right? You're holding chaturanga as you move forward and move back. The only difference from a regular chaturanga is that your feet are together and touching. But because it's Ashtanga, and Ashtanga likes to make things hard, all of the sort of ways that you could make this easier are not options. So the idea is that you're supposed to hold the chaturanga shape as you move through it as best you can. So that means that you're not straightening your arms, to get the height. So you're not pushing off the floor by straightening.
God, yeah. I don't know why anyone would want to do that.
And you're not sort of using the momentum of a wave, doing the worm, this thing where you kind of lift your hips and, remember, it's not the worm, it's a crocodile. So we're trying to hold the rigid straight line of Chaturanga Dandasana and maintain it as best as we can through the movement.
And no little
Yeah, oh yeah, this other thing. I guess it's like people like working up to the jump, the bouncing. So do you want to show it? This is really common too. People do this thing in between. They go dunk, 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 and then hop, dunk, 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 hop.
I find it like it's a waste of your energy.
Yeah, I'm trying to think why. Because it's not like people are intentionally putting it in.
Yeah.
So I think they're building up to the jump.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't figure it out. Like, to me, it makes it more difficult.
Yeah. But I think
it's like a momentum or something.
Exactly, yeah. So carrying movement into movement is always easier than going from stillness to movement, And so basically what we're trying to do is hold stillness as we go through it.
use the fingers and your toes
to move
to create
forward
the
and back.
movement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Toes and fingers and I guess wrists a little bit and ankles provide the direction, like you're moving forward or you're moving back. And then the ribs pulling in, I would say, would you?
Yeah, so we're trying to find the same line that we do in Samastiti, which is, again, the same line we do in Chaturanga or the Chaturanga. So here, too, when you're jumping, you don't want to let yourself go here and then try to jump, but you're maintaining this position and kind of just hovering above the floor. And then that creates so much support here and allows you to move the body more as a unit as opposed to, feet go, but the chest stays down, which creates that like wave movement. And it seems like more impact on your lower back.
Does it? Doing the worm?
The worm, yeah. Well, but it is not a worm because you're still kind of landing, in one place.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But doesn't matter what if the worm is easier, it's wrong. So
True.
We're trying to hold that same shape of Chaturanga Dandasana as best we can, as still as we can as we move forward and back.
And then the other thing that David and I, when we do it ourselves, and then of course when we're teaching it too, is you're trying to make it as quiet as possible. It's, of course, there's noise involved. It's hard not to make noise, but you want to make sure you're kind of not slapping your hands against the floor as you move. And that comes from this ability to use your fingers to jump up, but also then to land more gracefully going forward. And then going back always there's more sounds. Maybe some are coming from deep in too.
Yeah. And then I guess the final sort of cheat that people use is it's another momentum one, but they go fast. And so they'll sort of breathe quickly because, if the movement doesn't match the breath, then the breath tends to match the movement. So they'll go forward and back. But we're supposed to be trying to maintain that same steady breath that we had through the rest of the practice, ideally. And so the breath determines the rate of the movement, right? So we're inhaling as we hop, and then we're holding it as we exhale. It's a similar pattern for vinyasa that you get throughout Ashtanga.
But I think here it's super important because one, it's so difficult. So whenever something's difficult, we tend to hold the breath and rush through it. So here, that cue of pausing as you exhale and not moving is also important because I think that speeding up the breath and moving fast works as you go forward. But then we see people like they get burnt out. By the 5th hop, they're burnt out, but now they got to make the 5 hops back. And that also means that the heart rate's significantly higher, so you're having a hard time controlling all of it. So it seems like it will make the pose more difficult, slowing it down, but it actually helps you finish it. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say it does make it more difficult still, but maybe it's a strategy.
Yeah.
And again, just doing it too quickly is wrong. So that our teacher would always be stopping people. He'd do 2 things. He would tie their feet together if they couldn't keep their legs together. And then he would call it out, right? 1. And so you wouldn't hop until you heard 2.
And he would count it really slow.
Yeah.
This one was like a slow count. And before you'd start hopping back, there'd always be this like what felt like a lifetime hold in Chaturanga before you start moving back. So.
Okay.
All right.
Give it a try. Let us know how it goes in the comments. Like, subscribe, and good luck. Bye.